I would say that cartoons are best as a reflection on how people feel. And I think you'll find that the opinions expressed in editorial cartoons in general are an excellent way of seeing what the American public feels at each point in time about the issues of their day. Because in general, cartoonists have the same views that the readers do and about those proportions. I guess there are more liberal cartoonists than the audience, which is probably a larger percentage conservative than the cartoonists. But in general, it's a wonderful mirror on society. So I think rather than describing the news to a foreign audience, it's a good way to describe the way the American people feel about all of these different issues. Well, I like to draw things that I have opinions about, passionate opinions. I watch the news and I'm supposed to draw a cartoon about whatever they're talking about on the news that day. Because if I draw on some other subject, then the editorial page editors aren't caring about that and they want to put on their page what everybody's talking about that day. So I'm stuck with that. But one thing that's cool about what I do, drawing for MSNBC.com, is that I don't have a daily deadline and I don't really have to draw what they're talking about that day. So if they're talking about the weather, or if they're talking about crime, or if some celebrity died that day and all the cartoonists have to draw a cartoon about the weather or about crime, I don't have to do that. And that is really very nice because I don't have any passionate feelings about the weather or crime or some celebrity who happened to die that day. There's a great deal of difference in cartoons in different parts of the world. I think in the countries with the Romance languages, you know, French, Italian, Spanish, those parts of the world, they dearly love the cartoons the most. They're in the Arabic language countries. You'll see the cartoonist is a very important person in each newspaper. All through the Arab countries, they'll have big color cartoons on the front pages of the newspapers. And the cartoonist is the most important voice in the newspaper. And the art of editorial cartooning is really very highly revered, and that's very cool. Don't see that so much through Asia. Not as much in English language or German language as in the Romance languages, which is interesting to me, a little disappointing to me. Different parts of the world, they have different freedoms. You know, we have cartoonists in Singapore who say they can draw anything they want as long as it's not about Singapore. I think one of the best measures of the freedom of the press in a country is whether or not the cartoonist can draw the leader of his own country. You never see cartoonists in Cuba drawing Fidel or Raul Castro. You don't do that in Cuba. In China, there was a cartoonist there who drew the president of China and he was fired. That chilled all the rest of the cartoonists in China. You don't ever see cartoons of the president of China in China. You can see just very quickly by looking at the cartoons in any country the nature of the freedom of the press and of public discourse in that country.